Ready or not, it's showtime. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Bias. And whoever else is watching that's in the background in the shadows, thank you guys for coming tonight. Man, ready or not, we are live. It feels like one of those days where it's just kind of like, trying to get everything together, and now we're live streaming. So if you've had one of those days, welcome. This is a safe place, and I hope you feel welcome. I hope you take a moment to sit back and relax and maybe get a little drawing done yourself or watch and see how it is done or attempted. Sometimes it feels it's just like it's attempted. So we'll see what happens tonight. It's been a long week, admittedly. It's been a long week. So I'm excited that tomorrow is Friday. So the weekend is coming. It is coming. But tonight, it's drawing time. It is time to draw. And yes, and thank you, Tobias, for joining. I'm glad that you could join us, me and no one tonight. We'll see. We'll see who shows up. I think Dan's going to try and jump on a little bit. So he said, ooh, that happened at work. Machine is broken. So I had my second day. Oh, my second day off in a row. Yay. Good thing, maybe. Sometimes. So communications with intelligent life forms commencing via interstellar tethering. I see you are like the clip that plays at the beginning. I don't have anything cool like Jason's yet. I'm working on that, but thank you. You make it sound a lot more exciting. Oh my goodness. All right. Let me gather myself together. You know what? Let's start by sharing a screen. Let's share a screen. And Clip Studio. We are doing a fun I keep saying we like there's someone else here. I hope not. I'm doing a fun piece tonight. Been working on for those of you who are just joining or maybe watching this later, I am working on a comic that I am still calling Interstellar. We'll see if that changes. And it is in production. I'm working on it. But I'm taking a break tonight, and I'm drawing my main character. Her name is Stella, and she is a space angel. And we're going to take a little relaxing time. And she's listening to some music. And I'd love to listen to music, but unfortunately, YouTube doesn't want that happening. So I am working on trying to get something set up where I can get some fun beats going on in the background, but it really requires me to have my second monitor set up. So that is still yet to come. So in the meantime, maybe you can throw on some of your favorite beats in the background. I couldn't even find my headphones. I was thinking about putting in headphones, but you know what? It's okay. I will sing to myself in my mind. Get Craig to do something. Actually, Craig has already sent me some amazing little sound clips. I just haven't had time to put anything together yet, so it will happen. One more thing I gotta learn and figure out and put together. So baby steps. Oh, and let me go ahead and get this out to Facebook. Try and have everything ready to go. And Instagram. We're going to try grabbing the Insta people, the Insta crowd. And posting. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get that open too. All right. Okay. Without further ado, I've been working or talking a lot, not working that much. My goodness. So this is a sketch I had back in 2018, which I can't believe is already 2 years ago. And I am going to be inking it, and we'll see how much colors I can get in today. But I made a few little course corrections, and I might do something fun with the headphones. I'm not sure yet. But I'm going to go ahead and throw this into a file. We're going to just throw this into a file and call it sketch. might need to, I'm going to put blue on top. Sometimes I like to refine my sketches a little bit before I actually throw some inks on it. But I'm just going to dive right in. It feels a little bit like a travesty not listening to any music. We'll see. If I'm the only one here after a while, I might mute myself for a little bit and put on a little music. We'll see. Sometimes it is nice. Have something on in the background. Oops. Yep. Making sure I don't have too many or too few fingers. I wonder if anyone else does that. I always do a quick count. It's happened. I've included too many fingers before, too few, and be like, something doesn't look right. Yeah. All right. What do you say? I like the kazoo fanfare. Just add water. Order your own Instacrowd today. 5 free subscribers. And I got to get more savvy at getting the word out there and learning all that social media stuff. Ugh. Such a chore. All I want to do is draw. Let's see. Ooh, I'm going to see how long this takes me. I've changed my, I'm trying to say, I've started to change the way I do things over the last several months, so I want to get faster. So hard. I still want to make everything like a beautiful image. Perfect. Something you hang on the wall, but you can't hang like hundreds of comic pages on the wall. I guess you can. Yet to see it. And I need to get some new headphones, I realize. What? Oh, that's right. Doy. It's only 43% opacity. That's why I couldn't see it very well. Yeah, we'll stick with the lines. I'll try not to get caught up in too many details. Oh, that is a fault. Can I say it's a fault? I don't know if it's a fault. Feels like a fault sometimes, a fault of mine. Alrighty. I'm gonna need to figure that little bit out later. Okay. But she might even have hair covering it. Oh man, I guess I'm gonna do the scary part now. That's actually like putting down inks, which is funny because it's really not that scary. It's digital. So I can do whatever I want with it. I'm not sure what I want to start with. Usually I start with the face, but I think I'm gonna start with the hands. And yeah. I think it feels kind of big. Doing it again. I'm zooming in. Well, I shouldn't do that. Okay, I think that looks half decent. Only half decent. Enough to fool ya. Maybe. Hand. Ooh, let's check the size of the hand. Might be a little bit big. Wishy. Well, let's cheat. Yeah, good enough. Alrighty. Yeah, the hand might be a little big. We'll see. It's not that bad. The nice thing with this feature is it is a vector layer. So I can do a lot of cool changes without compromising the integrity of the lines. Wow, okay. I'm trying to get this done in one strike. This has been one of my biggest frustrations, is trying to get a line in one shot. It's really, like, I'm trying to be better at not, trying to feel like I have to. Sometimes you kind of gotta, but other times, like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Oop, that was upside down. How about we go this way? Flip that. Knowing that I can piece things together. Just not care if it's not perfect. I think that's the thing, or one of the things that probably trips up the most artists, at least trips me up, is just trying to perfect it all. Totally perfect. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to do this thing again. Haha. Except I should do this a little bit more. Bing. Okay. And I feel like I work a lot faster when I'm on a stream. I feel like you guys are watching and I can't dilly-dally too much or fuss over lines. All right. Even though I still fuss over lines like crazy. Sure. I love vector lines. They're very nice. But I don't use them for everything. There are things like actually the face I won't use them for. And this is a vector eraser. You probably already know that. For the one person who doesn't. There you go. And if you're watching and you're wondering what all that clickety click click sound is, it is my little gamer pad I have next to me, and it is used for shortcuts. So that's what it looks like. Little mouse pad, little wheel here. So my hand just rests on it, and I have my basic little Wacom tablet. Nothing fancy. Maybe Cintiq someday. Honestly, I tried it one time. I tried it at the library, and yeah, we had an awesome library at our last place, and it was really cool. I they had Cintiq's, this really cool design lab. And yeah, so I tried it and it was good, but maybe I don't know if I had it set up properly because I was just testing it out, but it just felt like it was helpful, but it still didn't replace that tactile nature that like traditional drawing has, which I was kind of looking for, seeing if it was going to be a replacement or really make it worthwhile upgrading to it. It was okay. I would like to try it again. But admittedly, I'm still holding steady on my little Intuos tablet. Pretty sure this Intuos. They've changed it so much over the years that it's been called like a bunch of different things. So I don't know. Kind of happy with what I got. It takes up less space. It's portable. Not to mention you're not staring like right at the screen. So I have good distance from the screen and my eyes. And it actually helps my posture too. I mean, I'm sure you can, get around with all this stuff. Oops. Even with this Cintiq. I gotta put that stabilization a bit up. But if it works, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. I was trying to figure out how to say that statement. Huh? Oh, man. Oh, yeah. It's a Thursday night. I can't wait for Friday. Can't wait for Friday evening. Let's see. Check on. Let's see. Oh. Hello.
Hey. How's it going?
Oh. That's good. How are you?
Doing all right. Can you hear any noise from my end?
Nothing. I mean, I have to listen hard to hear it, so I think you're good.
Okay, cool. Because I got some 3D printers running.
Your audio is a little bit lag. No, you're good. Your audio is lagging just a bit, but it catches up.
Okay.
Either that, it could be you, or it could be me, because I still don't know for sure.
Well, I actually got my laptop actually plugged into the network this time, so.
So it's probably me. Yeah, I'll figure that out. Well, welcome. You gonna be working on some art tonight, or doing some research?
I have my drawing tablet with me, but I'm feeling kind of lazy. I don't feel like getting out of the case, so.
Well, we're gonna need to have the people watch you draw at some point here. Make your good art up here. I had all intentions of drawing today and then inking whatever I drew, and the day went by way too fast. And so I was desperately trying to dig around and find a sketch that would work well, that I wanted inked. So I think I found something.
Cool.
Yeah, I needed a break from working on my pages.
A little sidetrack is good every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's still something. It's like I can use this somewhere in my graphic novel at some point. So it's not. I mean, nothing is ever a waste, but it definitely serves that purpose too. Actually, I was really wanting to draw Asaka, wow, Tano from Clone Wars.
Okay.
But I ran out of time. So next time.
There is always next time.
Yes. So what are you 3D printing?
Well, I've been hired by a local community college to make like face masks and stuff. Right now I have some face shields in the printer. That's about all. I have several printers set up, but I just haven't gotten around to putting more things on.
Yeah. That's actually a really good use for a 3D printer. When they first came out, it was all like kind of playthings, and now it's like we can actually make really useful, needed things.
Yeah.
And we've been working on that. You've been working with 3D printers for a while now too. So
Yeah, for a little while. Let's see if
on
I have enough slack on my Ethernet cord and I can actually show you.
Ooh, that'd be fun to see.
The,
While you do that, I gotta check the chat. Oh, here, one sec, chat. We'll see. Here, let me put you on the screen. Oh, no. Oh, let's see if I can do this. Oh, no. There it is. Sorry, I'm trying to get you. There it is. There it is.
oh,
Ooh.
that's what it's working on right there. It's working on, let's see, these pieces, which you could put on a clear piece of plastic, like on these little nubs, and then put like a strap on both sides, and it'll be a face shield.
That's so cool.
And I got this one that I'm trying to calibrate, but it's not cooperating at the moment. And I got these two little baby ones right over here.
Aww, baby.
One right there. And then that one, which we don't talk about.
Oh, that shan't be named. Bound for the dumpster?
It's more problems than it's worth.
Hmm.
There we go.
Don't make yourself useful. You shall be bound for the parts. Sold for parts. That's really cool. You are the king of the 3D printers. Or the keeper? We'll have to figure out.
Probably the keeper.
The keeper. Yes. That makes more sense. Keeper of the printers. I kind of keep forgetting that they actually print. Like, I want to think that they do the opposite, where they take away, because it kind of makes those sounds. But every now and then it's like, oh yeah, they actually print it out. So if you're working, I don't want to distract you, so go for it. I will check the chat now. Maria is here. Hello. Oh my goodness. Okay, back to the kazoo fanfare. Let's see. It's a lot of work. Oh, actually, I follow someone on Instagram that paints manga panels on the walls. That's cool. Aw. Thank you, Maria. I'm looking forward to this stream all week. Yay. Well, I look forward to it too. I miss people. I miss our regular artists meetups. It feels so infrequent. Let's see. I wish I had vector layers. Tobias, you can have vector layers with Clip Studio. Use a feature that drags the pen line. Ah, yes, behind the stylus. The lazy Nozumi, I think it's called. Don't quote me on that. Nozumi. Yes, I have heard about that. It looked very strange to use, but it probably is a little more intuitive than what it looks like. That's bad. Nice. Let's see. Yes. Yay. Yay, Intuos. Use a Hoyon Inspiral. I guess that must be tablet. And Maria says, I have a bamboo tablet for a long time, or had a bamboo tablet for a long time. Switched to the Intuos to make sure I have a tablet that works with a Mac. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Like they've gone through all the crazy names. This is the Intuos Pen and Touch medium size tablet, but it could have been renamed since then. I think it was called a Bamboo at one point, and then they called it Intuos, and now it's like I just know it's this one. That works. So yeah. Okay, welcome, Blackmanic Parts. Hop on in whenever you like. Much better quality. Nice. And welcome to Sifa. So, okay, back to Stella listening to music. And
nice.
vector layers and vector lines. And I can't remember. Can you remind me? I think I asked you this last stream, but what program do you use again to do art?
I actually use Clip Studio.
Ooh. Uh-oh. Nope, I'm sorry. I can hear you now. That was my fault. Go ahead.
Oh, I actually use Clip Studio.
Okay, you do use Clip.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I've asked you that before. I've talked to so many people, I can't remember who uses what.
It's understandable.
Yeah, but the vector lines, I've discovered them recently, and they're handy.
I haven't actually tried vector lines in Clip Studio yet.
They're really nice for, well, let's show you what it can do with hair. So, see if I can try and do this. Sorry, it's kind of hard. I got to focus a little bit, but you'll see in a second. It is very nice for cleanup. So, ooh, it's a little bent. Let's just do that. So, especially for hair, I found, actually, we'll just start with this. This is my vector eraser, and it cleans up the crossover points. So anything that crosses over, you can just quickly clean it up, and it makes it go to a point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's nice. So obviously, if you see, yeah, anything like that. So
I really like it.
Yeah, it's really handy for just quick cleanup and not having to worry. Even here, let's see if this will do it. Yep, it will. Yeah, I don't even have to explain it. It just demonstrates itself.
Yeah.
What was I going to say about it? There are, yeah, it works well. I actually use a regular pen for faces now and for certain other things, but especially for things that come to points, because for those of you watching, normally you would have this. Actually, let's put this on normal layer. You'd have this here, and normally you go and clean up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not bad, but after if you have other lines here, you'd have to go up and clean it up to the line and make sure it doesn't erase. But so this just makes it really, oops, I have to make sure it's on the vector eraser. Just makes it easy. I can use a hard eraser, and I can erase parts. You can actually see the line kind of reform a little bit after I do that. So, but the cool thing is I can use pretty much any brush. So let's see. I don't know. Let's see if it works on a watercolor brush. See, kind of reformed. So, a vector line. Yep. So it works on watercolor as well.
Oh, man.
Let's see if we can. Not entirely well. But so I use my rough brush. It's just an indie ink brush. I think this is from Flyland. So it just kind of has a bit of a rougher edge. So it still works beautifully with that.
That is excellent.
Yeah, it's nice. You can make 2 vector layers and you can merge them down. So it has this little symbol here. So it still makes a vector layer. If I were to merge a regular layer with it, it just becomes a regular layer after that. So which is fine. Yeah. Oh, one other thing I'll have to show you. Sure. Oops. Yeah, I just deleted almost. How about I don't do that? I'm getting a little dangerous with what I'm deleting here. How about I name this so I don't think it's like a throwaway layer? Oops. Here's another cool thing. I don't know. This is called the correct line tool. So these fingers here, the lines are a little thinner. If I want to actually adjust the line thickness, I can figure out how much I want to select it, and you kind of highlight it.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it bolster it, or you can fix that little dude right there, or you can make it smaller. So let's just say this is a little thick. Now I have it set kind of low, but if I were to go really high, yeah, you can see how drastically it thins the lines out.
Wow.
So yeah, these two little, and it has to be vector layer, but those two little tools are really nice for making adjustments. So like right up here, I was like, oh, instead of having to draw over my lines again, makes it a lot easier.
I'm going to have to give that a try sometime.
Yeah. I haven't explored a whole lot of the rest, but those two are just surprisingly delightful. There we go. Yeah, I don't use it for faces and for eyes because I kind of scribble them in a little bit more, and it does work for that, but it's just easier with a regular brush. All right.
Yeah, Clip Studio's got some pretty handy. Oh, hold on.
Go save the printer. Let's see. Yes. Yeah, I highly recommend them. Gotta figure out. Sometimes hair feels like it gets a little too refined, especially in the inking stage. Trying to figure out how to make sure I give it that serendipity it deserves. Dan left in a hurry. Hope the printer didn't eat him. That'd be sad. Fairly you shall conquer. All right. Wow. You know what? I'm gonna turn this around. Makes it a lot easier. Oh, that's much better. I do that if anyone's watching and doesn't know, it follows a curve of your natural tendency for your wrist to, what am I trying to say? I can make this shape easier in certain angles. Oh, are the printers okay?
Yeah, it's just someone came in and they locked themselves out of a room, so I had to go unlock it for them.
Humans. Robots are so much easier.
Funny enough, the guy's nickname is Robot.
Really? Well, that's just serendipitous. I love it. Dan, have you ever heard of a game called the Turing Test?
Say again?
Have you heard of a game called the Turing Test?
Oh, yeah. I haven't actually played it.
It's a good little game. It's it's a smaller version of Portal. Yeah.
Yeah, it did give me some Portal vibes when I looked at it.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Similar concepts, different mechanisms to accomplish the puzzles, but yeah, it was fun and all about robots and things. So him trying to get in the door, I'm like, oh, maybe he is a robot. We need a Turing test for this.
Interesting.
All right, I'm noodling details again. So easy. These are weird headphones. Maybe I should go look at real headphones. Nah. Would that happen? Let's do this. Let's do that. Look who's here! Hello! Welcome.
I finally was able to catch you on a time that worked. So yay!
I'm so glad. Well, welcome. Well, Heidi, this is Dan. Dan, this is Heidi.
Hello.
Hi, Dan. Nice to meet you.
So, Heidi and I met kind of. We were following another artist named Jason Brubaker, and he was doing a little Patreon chat. And so I found out that Heidi was in the local area that I was in at the time. And sadly, COVID struck, so we never got to meet up in person. So
No.
you both are actually exclusively virtual friendships. So that's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, that is. How did you two meet?
Wow. Well, we met back in the early 2000s gaming.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Man.
Yep. So, and the funny thing is we never really chatted or talked in person until last week.
Yep.
Chat, Messenger and all that. I think it's because part of the reason is my parents were always like, don't talk to strangers when I was a kid, like don't talk to anyone online, like, and so it's just kind of like all the friends of that era kind of got lumped into that.
Oh, well, clearly that didn't stick because here you are.
I actually had to call my mom and dad, be like, "It's okay. Is this okay?"
Did you see? Are you being facetious? Are you?
No. Actually, my mom might be listening right now, so that's kind of funny and ironic. So what are you working on? Do you mind if I put your screen on? Oh, and actually, let me.
I do not mind. Hopefully it's at a good angle because I can't really see my phone where I have it set up, so I can't really monitor it, but giving it a shot. Yeah, I'm working on a page of Cotton's book 3 right now. Finally getting back in the swing of things after a few months. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's really cool to kind of be back in the saddle. So feels good.
And you are traditionally inking that.
Yeah. So this is so I've already inked just the characters for it, and now I'm penciling in the backgrounds around them to kind of give a little separation and maybe a little bit of an animation look.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually it's going to be scanned in and digitally colored and lettered and all of that stuff. So it's kind of a mix of both. But I really enjoy working traditionally. I also acknowledge that I don't think I can do it for too much longer because it's a little more complicated and has a lot of extra steps. Mm-hmm. And, even though I am working on the same template that, I figured out digitally, there's always weird discrepancies and there are always strange things you have to clean up and tweak, and it takes extra time. And also the clutter at the end of it, I have to store all the pages, and I have too much, and so I think I'm reaching a breaking point. So I'm like, I might have to go switch to Clip Studio instead in the future. But because I started doing it this way for books 1 and 2, I kind of feel like for consistency's sake, I'm going to stick to it. But then after that, I think I'm going to change.
Yeah. Wow.
And just do traditional for myself after that.
Yeah. Well, it looks fantastic. And it's so,
Thank you.
It's so delightful to see that traditional medium again and a light board, and knowing the just that wonderful connection with the art that you just can't quite get digitally.
Yeah. I don't know. It soothes me.
Yeah.
It always has. Like I think, I don't know, staring at a computer screen for too long, I don't know, it makes me crazy.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I miss traditional art for that reason. So, wow. Well, welcome, Craig. Glad
Thank
you
you.
could join. I was trying to share Heidi's screen, and then about halfway through, I realized it's her video on it. So I was like, well, that's not going to work.
Is there something? There's something. I don't
No,
understand.
no, no. I would go around and share people's screens as we'd work, and
Yeah.
but it's a little different when it's just one camera. So I'm still figuring out.
Oh, is this upside down? It looks upside down. Oh wait, no, it's not.
It's not upside down.
All right,
it's outside, but it still looks good.
Okay,
And
good.
Craig, what are you working on? Here, I can add to you.
I think I'm done with the pages I was working on last time. I've got those two sort of colored, a little bit of shading, text, all that, and now I'm moving on to the next one. Trying to figure this out. I have messed with this so many times and moved things around and adjusted them, and I think I've got it where I want it now. My big concern right now is the flow of the panels, you know, if people are going to be able to follow it. As, I'll show you what my intention is, and you can tell me if it reads that way for you. So my intention is that you start here, follow the text through this thing, and down to there.
It's a really good composition. I had a little trouble in the beginning, but I don't think, to look at it a little bit more. Here, I'm going to put it on full screen for a sec.
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of a slightly more complex kind of an S-curve.
Yeah.
But I had so much trouble trying to find a way to make that work.
Oh man, I've had so many, what do we call it, crazy complex scenes that are just tricky, and then you're trying to get the right composition and the word bubbles, and not as easy.
Yeah, I got to give you props because you're making a lot of brave moves versus me, and I'm like, I like grids. We're gonna stick with grids. They are safe. I can control grids.
I'm wishing now I had stuck to a grid, but
no, my friend, we're gonna help get you through this, because I totally understand. I'm one of those crazy people that also loves complex compositions.
Yeah, that bravery, like I admire that very much.
Well, I don't know if it's bravery or foolishness, but I just don't know any better. but I kind of like it. I kind of like the look of it now. And I mean, even if people get a little lost, you know, if they kind of come down here and kind of go down here and get a little lost, it's not the end of the world, because this stuff is not critically important. You know, it's almost a bit of an extra. You know, if you just sort of come down here and sort of end up here, that's not the end of the world.
Right.
But,
I still think you'll end back up over there.
Mm-hmm.
I love the crop with the cloud. Like my first instinct was like, maybe you can nudge that panel over just slightly, but I'm like, but then you'd lose that, and I don't want you to lose that. So
yeah, I've been debating about whether to thicken the outline all around the cloud, but I kind of like where it just breaks the panels, having it nice and thick there, but then just leave it natural for the rest of it. Yeah.
I'm trying some things.
I'll be honest, Jessica, it was kind of inspired by one of your pages where you had like this explosion in the middle of your page and you fit all your panels around it. And I was like, I really like that.
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, I haven't seen that one.
You had you showed a page a couple of streams ago, and there was like this I don't know if it was an explosion or star exploding or something right kind of in the middle of the page.
Yes.
And then the panels were all cut and shaped around it, and it looked really good. I really liked it.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, you are doing even beyond. I mean, there's only like 2 panels that I had, so you have a lot more going on. I'm just actually took a screenshot of your screen and I'm playing around with it right now.
Oh.
So I'll show you in a second.
Yay.
Because I love design.
Yeah.
Challenges like this.
Yeah, I'm very much inspired by sort of graphic design principles,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to play with the norms a little bit.
Yes. Ooh. The one thing I realize I'm not good at is handling the word balloons.
Oh gosh. There was nothing more horrible to hear than they were like, we want you to do the word balloons in the artist hand. And I'm like, please don't do that to me. Please don't make me do this.
I had something I wanted to show Dan.
Oh.
If you can show my screen. My face.
Oh, let's see if I can. Hold on. There we go.
Because I mentioned in the chat, I have an inexpensive 3D printer. and really, I haven't done that much with it, but I did a.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And I did my own character. I haven't painted him yet, but I made a little 3D model of my character.
Oh,
look at his grumpy face.
And I was very pleased that I was able to actually print it out and hold it in my hand,
Did you have to sand it down at all?
That one I did not sand down. If the screen probably can't catch it. You can see lines on it.
Okay.
Like it does have some lines around it where the layers are, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not apparent to me anyway.
Yeah. But if I were to paint it, I probably would sand it a little bit. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I like painting like figures or printing figures and stuff like that. That's pretty difficult of a thing to do. So.
Yeah. The only other one I really did, I made a ball jointed doll that I sculpted in ZBrush and Blender. I started printing parts out for that, but that gets so complicated when you have moving joints.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
To get things to actually work the way they're intended.
Yeah.
Oh.
What kind of material are you using?
They're just really basic. Let me just see here. What is this stuff? I haven't tried a whole variety of materials yet. This is just PLA.
Okay.
Just basic PLA.
Yeah, that's pretty friendly stuff to work with. But like when you actually go to make your ball jointed figure, little word of warning is that the PLA tends to wear out quicker on mechanical things, so the joints will start to get kind of floppy pretty quickly.
Yeah, I have some other material. There's some newer versions of the PLA that are supposed to be stronger and less brittle. And I think I have some nylon and I have some other things I haven't really tried yet. But
I haven't actually tried nylon yet.
It's fun to play around with. I mean, it's kind of just a hobby. You have to be willing to put up with some frustration and things not working and do some problem solving. And
Definitely, yeah.
But it's fun,
Oh, it's good that you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. What kind of a 3D printer is this?
Mine is an Ender 3, which I got a couple of years ago.
I've heard
And
those are pretty good.
I've heard really good things about them. It's worked pretty well for me. The biggest issue I ran into, actually, I had a lot of trouble with it not printing well, but I realized it wasn't the printer. It was the fact that my plastic had gotten some moisture in it.
Yeah.
And I had to dry it out. I had to put it in the oven and dry it out, and then it worked like a charm. So the printer itself has worked really well for me. I'm very impressed by it. And it wasn't super expensive. Like, it was one of the lower end printers you could get. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I like the big whoosh.
So, sorry, don't mean to interrupt. But I was just saying, I'm trying to, let me see your screen.
Yeah.
So, I like stair step tiers a lot. I don't know. I'm not saying use this at all. I'm just playing around because I like trying to problem solve. But this is kind of nice because it leads the viewer down.
Yes.
I can't remember where this tile went or came from.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I don't know if you can kind of put in front. I feel like there's so many rules to these things that.
No, I like that. Actually, that's nice because it fills in the page a little better than what I had. What I had a big gap in it.
Yeah.
And that fills it in a lot nicer.
So
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. I think that's probably better. I would do it a little bit bigger. Yeah. Anyways, there you go.
Like
at least maybe it'll brew some if you're still thinking about it and trying to figure out. Yeah, it's always tricky when you have like a big main central element. But it sure is fun when you find a good solution that works really well.
Yeah.
And I love how it's like it's invading all the other panels. It's like it's invading the chamber. And it's all like one image. I think that's really cool. I really like that. So definitely something you want to work on and keep working on it.
Yeah, I kind of stumbled into that a little bit because like I knew like at a point in the scene the gas is released, and then all the panels after that would show the gas in them, and then I kind of stumbled into, well, I can just have one big cloud and have the panels overlap it, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and give you a chance to get set up and
I took a screen capture of your rework, so I'm going to use that.
That's how I just work in screenshots. Let's see.
So I'm late to the game, but Jessica, what are you working on?
I'm just doing a fun little relaxing drawing today. So
that's nice.
Yeah. My space angel character named Stella, and she's listening to some music.
That looks like fun.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was actually just about to muse. I'm like, oh, I should do some little art for fun one of these days soon. So
it's kind of surprising hard to peel myself away from my comic because all I want to do is just get it done.
Yeah.
But there's a few scenes that I'm working on that really require a lot of concentration. So this, I feel like, if I'm not hitting all the notes, no pun intended, it's totally fine.
Right.
I needed a break.
That's understandable. It's always a good reminder to give ourselves. It's like, oh right, like let's reignite that creative spark.
Yeah.
Do some things without the additional pressure that's put on them by deadlines and schedules.
Yeah, it's amazing how we somehow, not trying to, but it just seems like it's so easy to put pressure on ourselves to make art or make it better. And I was telling Dan when he first jumped into stream that I had intentions of drawing and then inking that tonight, and I just wasn't feeling it, and I just, I was busy with a bunch of other things, and so I dug up an old sketch, and I was like, you know what, I can always use her for fun promotional art or whatever, whatever I need to use.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's fine. And now I really get to test to see how fast I have come over the last several pages. The last pages, I've really revised how it worked, and I hope I'm a little faster. I think I'm a little faster.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm trying to see. I'm like, how rusty am I at this point? Like, how slow am I gonna go?
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it just myself up at night, or I just like always thinking about like I gotta get faster.
Oh yes. Yeah, there's always that pressure.
Yeah. With all the pages I want to do. I have too much. I think I've been really focused too much on doing I've been calling it like a book cover for every page. And it's time that I scale it back and go a little more simple. So that makes no sense. I was wondering why that was all weird.
Yeah, I think that's something that I kind of struggle with too, where it is, I think too much like an illustrator. And it's like, no, these are comic pages, like get them out. Like not all of them can be a masterpiece as much as you might like it to be. So
as an illustrator, were you sort of trained, or you learned to make that beautiful image and make it the best you can?
Well, it's funny because I actually majored in sequential art. But I think a certain aspect of my perfectionism probably pushes me over into more of an illustrative approach without really thinking about it. So one of the lessons that I'm hoping I will pick up on over time is to learn to make deliberate decisions, design decisions, like learn when to back away, don't overthink, don't overdo it on the details. Maybe don't listen to that little voice that says, but this would look cool every time. So that's what that gets you in trouble. So
yes, it's true.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with my notes. No, it's what you said about design choices has been something I've really been thinking a lot about, and that little voice, but this would be cool if I did it this way, or if I added that extra detail and really made it look sharp. And that's my Achilles heel right now.
It is. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one.
Oh my goodness, not at all. It's been neat though, like just following other artists, especially that are, comic book artists and a little more accomplished or experienced now. It sounds like that's something that's been kind of part of their struggle.
Yeah.
And hopefully it gets kind of hammered out over.
Yes. I feel like it's slowly getting there. But I feel like I also need to take time to sit down and do some art that's not a part of this. And play and see, what do you like? Like, what are ways you can simplify, but not simplify in the sense that you're being negligent. No. Design-wise, but, just being deliberate. And, for me, I think I just kind of act, and I feel it out, and I zone out. I go into autopilot, and so I guess that's my next lesson is like, how do you stay present and make better choices that aren't just necessarily based on your perfectionist instincts?
Yeah. But like you said, I think it's a lot of deliberate, thoughtful design choices that you stick with.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm glad you said that, because that's really been something I'm thinking about. And in a way, it almost sounds like, not a death of dream. That's so dramatic sounding, but where you're kind of like, I expect it to be like so, perfect and amazing, but it's like, it's not going to get done unless I really, and really there's just they're not even sacrifices. They're just smart decisions.
Yes.
Yes. So it's just getting over the fact that it feels wrong.
Yes. Do
wrong.
you feel that intense anxiety over it?
Yes.
I do. It's like, oh, this hurts. It hurts me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad I'm not alone.
It hurts us, precious. Yeah. It's really bad.
Wow. Yep. Okay, we can do this. We can do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think it depends on, I really don't know what'll be happening in the future, but it's like, okay, so books 1 through 3 have to look like this. But if there are 4 through 6, we are going to be making some changes, some significant changes. So
I was kind of encouraged. I have to fix the eye later, but I was encouraged that Jason was a while ago, or he mentioned that in one of his Remind comic, he's flipped over into the digital realm halfway through.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what? You can do that?
Yeah, I realize I don't understand why I'm continuing in some ways, because people were like, oh, you mean it's not all digital? I'm like, no.
Oh, you couldn't tell?
You couldn't tell. They're very interesting. Ooh. So I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where I don't want to figure it out now. I just want to maintain the momentum, and then because I would have to learn a program I've never tried before in order to make that work, because line art in Photoshop is horrible, and I don't want to do it. So
Clip Studio?
Yeah, I would have to kind of get acquainted with Clip Studio. Okay. That's the plan. But I just don't want to have to do that while working on something.
Absolutely. Totally get it.
Yeah.
Totally get it. Yeah, I still like to draw traditionally. I found that I just don't like traditionally drawing digitally. So all I was trying to say is I still like drawing traditionally, and then I go and ink it.
Yeah.
So.
You ink it digitally?
I ink digitally, but I still draw it out as sketches with pencil paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a soothing thing, gets you in the right headspace, I think.
It is. And not only that, but I know how the paper feels. I trust that it's a real tactile connection. So I just perform better like that. And the cool thing is, what is the cool thing? Wow, sorry. Apparently drawing and trying to talk at the same time. I'm going to turn on someone else's screen for a bit. I'm going to put you on the spot, Craig. What am I trying to say? Yeah, so I like drawing it out and then going back and traditionally and digitally inking it. It's something to do with, I think, the way that my brain hand connection with a paper. I know it sounds crazy, but like it's the speed of the pencil. It's slowed down a little bit with the lead and the paper, and it's whenever I try to sketch digitally, it just seems to glide over the surface of the tablet so quickly. So really, it's a different mechanism.
Yeah.
I
get that too, and I think that what I guess, well, I mean, I still glide a little bit, but like my little sleeve kind of, I don't know, grounds me when I'm working digitally. But I don't know. I think what helps me is to get distance from the work in general, because digitally, at least for me, especially with that anxiety fueled perfectionism, is that you can zoom in a lot and nitpick tiny little things, and whereas, with the sketchbook, you can't do that. And in my case, like doing doing my thumbnails, which are these little guys.
Mm-hmm.
So they're, I guess they're more roughs. I don't know which way is better to hold them.
Those are roughs or comps.
Yeah, they're my comps. So it's like, it helps me to be able to step back away enough that it helps me to think better. I used to do, like, I guess this is what, 8.5 by 11. So my roughs used to be like, one whole page would be, 4 of these guys. And I feel like the compositions just weren't as strong, and it also took me a lot longer. I don't know. So it's just a helpful thing for thought processes.
Now, those comps that you did, or the roughs, are those drawn at that size, or did you?
They are drawn at that size. Yes.
Wow. Wow. I've never seen comps.
I think really small. So.
All you got to do is blow that up and sharpen it, and you're done.
Yeah, I know. I really should do that more. Of like, I do blow them up, and then I clean them up. So like, one of them is, so basically like the back of this is one of them, but backwards.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm inking and penciling from. But yeah. Although it is cleaned up. This one's cleaned up digitally because it gets scanned in, and then like I have to make room for like word balloons and stuff, and I clean up the characters then, and so yeah. So there's a lot of weird steps that I've taken with these as I've gone along.
Mm-hmm. Well, every artist develops, steps along that progression line.
Yeah.
It's so fun because I usually don't see a lot of people working traditionally anymore, and I miss traditional art, and I've done a lot of watercolor, so it's really fun to see, you working this way. Even though I know you're like talking about going digital, I'm like, oh, it's so cool to see.
Yeah, I really enjoy it,
and it's cool. I mean, basically, your comps are your tight pencils at that point, so all you gotta do is just blow it up, clean it up. Ink it, and then I'm assuming when you throw into Photoshop, you can easily get rid of any little sketchy lines that are still remaining that you don't want.
Yeah, they're relatively easy to clean up, and because I've already prepped them in advance, like I just drag over all the thumbnails all the rough word balloons and all of the text from the prepped file, and then just finish those up when that's ready to go.
Wow. So cool. I love it.
Interesting, weird, like a weird nuanced assembly line.
Yeah. I sometimes find myself, I still find myself in the battle of occasionally really wanting to do my inks traditional. I did a smaller comic traditionally before, and then I scanned it in, cleaned it up. And I mean, like you said, that's one of the problems with digital is you zoom in to 300% and you noodle around with the details and pixels at that point.
Yes.
And you're just kind of like, what am I doing? And so sometimes I really wonder, like, am I actually working slower digitally because I am, going back and redoing it rather than having my nice tight pencils that are ready to go. They just need a nice black line on top, and all the guesswork is done, and not there. And I sometimes wonder. And I want to ask, what pen are you working in?
Let's see. I don't know which one. Let's see. Right here, I've got. Well, this is just a blue line pencil. Just a little, like a cheapo guy. But I've been inking with the Zig Clean Color Real Brush. I think it's a Kuritake brush. Okay. It seems to be working pretty well. I have other brushes that I've used in the past, like these guys. But the problem that I've had with them is they have a sweet spot where it's just like the right amount of ink distribution. And when you're in that sweet spot, it's glorious. But then it either goes too dry or then it starts dumping out ink. So even if you're really, really careful, you could still ruin it, ruin your line art pretty quickly. So, and then for pencils, I'm just using like a 4B pencil for the backgrounds, because I find that's the only way that I can actually get. I'm pretty light-handed with my pencil, so I'm like, I need something that's going to give me a little more oomph than what I've had before. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
That's cool. And that's a pencil, the blue line that you're holding right now.
Yeah, so this is it's like a little mechanical pencil. And I just bought blue line lead for it, and yeah.
Yep. Oh man, it's really cool to see that. I kind of I'm still struggling with trying to find the best tools for inking traditionally, and I've sort of settled with micron pens grudgingly.
Oh yeah.
Because I am more heavy-handed when it comes to drawing, and I feel like I'm really just I use a lot of hard pressure whenever I put my lines down, so I can't really use the pen brush to achieve the controlled lines that I want. I mean, unless I learn to be a little light-handed.
I used to have the same problem, so I use Copics for previous projects, Copic technical pens. So, but for this one, I wanted to get there's just something about a brush that gives you more motion. And to be fair, I'll say this, this looks far better because I have the curse of the blue line table going on. So whenever I turn it off, I'm just like, oh, these lines are so messy. They look okay when the light's on, but the minute I turn it off, I'm like, oh, it's a good thing this is getting sized down. That's all I'm going to say.
Isn't that the curse of all artists that have the sketch? They take the sketch away and your drawing looks just naked. And you're like, oh.
Yes. It had so much life before. What have I done? How could I have done this?
Do I really want to throw away my sketch? I have to. No.
Yes.
Man, the struggle is real, folks.
Mm-hmm. It's a problem.
It truly is. It's fun seeing this because it really makes me think again all the struggles I've had of going back and forth, and should I do should I do traditional? Should I do it, digital? I don't know. And I'm still kind of debating it in ways, and just seeing how long it's taken me to do these 30 pages, and they look great, but oh man, it's too long. And so interesting. I think it's getting through that ugly stage when it lost its life, its vitality after the sketches are gone. It's like, okay, just push it to the colors. It's going to look better soon. I just got to get it through the colors and past that point.
There's nothing more heartbreaking than being like, oh, these thumbnails have so much life. And then you pencil and ink them, and I'm like, oh, they looked better before.
No. But that's the thing, about being a comic artist is I'm finding it's like, I gotta get over that. I gotta be okay without that. And that's all, forget the learning all the technical things. It's easy to learn technical stuff. You just put the work in and you get better at it, but it's making those decisions. It's hard.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's literally just well, this is what it is. I've spotted things after pages are finished. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty bad tangent. Oh well, I have to turn it in. It's got to be done. So whatever.
Yeah. Hey, but was it the blessing curse of having a deadline? A hard deadline?
Yeah. It's just it's just got to get done. I have no option, and I'm sure other professionals will catch it and say, "Oh, that could have been done better," and I would agree with them wholeheartedly. And go, but it is what it is.
There are tons of other professionally drawn comics on the shelves right now that I look at that and I'm like, how did they get away with that? How did they get away with that face? It is as skewed, as wonky, and what? How they somehow did.
Yep. Oh my
and
goodness.
it's selling.
How do I feel about these speed lines, actually?
So if you're doing those traditionally with a blue line pencil, are you not planning on inking them traditionally as well?
No, this is basically like the pencil for the background is essentially like I'm inking with a pencil. So,
okay, yeah.
so this is, once this line art is done, it's done. Yeah.
You make me happy. You're breaking all the so-called rules out there. It just
Yeah, it was just trying to find that look,
Yeah.
And once I landed there, I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is good. I want the characters and the backgrounds to be set apart.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest issues with this is prepping the line art digitally after scan.
Yes.
Because I mean, it's a drastically different thing to manage your pencils versus your inks. Like I can't just throw them in there and pump the levels.
Oh.
Because it'll wash the pencils out. So I have to, what was it? Like I prep the line art and everything and kind of like separate it, and then I like duplicate the layer a couple times. But then, to kind of make the pencils a little bit darker. And then with the inks, I have to go in and like the upper layers of the inks, I have to go in with a lasso tool and delete those so that the inks are still crisp the way that they are right here. So it's like weird things that happen when you've got two different kinds of line art approaches. So that's just one of the weird, complicated messes that I've had to sort out over the years.
But I mean, it's actually really encouraging to hear that, because I always thought I was the only one dealing with trying to clean up my line art and actually make it look good and never feeling like it never looked good. And I mean, as I'm coming to find, like, this is a recurring thing that most artists that are still, you traditionally transferring their inks over, or the sketches or whatever, have to deal with. And
Yes.
It's not like a magic button you press. The professionals don't have a magic button. Like, there's still, I've heard so many professionals still using scanners that they have to stitch their images together. And I'm kind of
oh my gosh, wow.
and maybe that was a while ago now, but like I just remember, like, back when, like, large format scanners were still a thing. And there's this one, like, guy who did Spider-Man or something. He's like, yeah, I gotta scan it twice and stitch it together. And I'm just like, what? How much are they paying you? You go buy yourself a proper scanner. That just sounds worthless.
Oh my goodness. I mean, for many years I had like I leaned on the what was it, the Muztec scanners, which are they're like $199 a pop, and I could get 2 years worth of high res large format scans out of one before it inevitably died on me, and then I would just buy another one because it was so cheap in comparison to like a couple $1,000s for a fancy pants one. And so I'm like, well, I mean, you could look at it like, why don't you just get the nice one and not have to buy so many? I'm like, or, I mean, by the time, the nice one has, I mean, the nice one might die before, oh gosh, how did I do the math on this? I was like, hypothetically, I can get 2 years out of $200. and then, say that's like what? So that's 5 scanners. At $200, so that's like $1,000. Or I get paid $2,000, and it could be dead in a decade anyway. It's like, I mean, mathematically, I mean, it's more wasteful, but mathematically, monetarily, it kind of works.
Not only that, but like, there's fewer people in the market for those large format scanners, and it just seems like there's not really the support system for people to like really offer tech support. I don't know. It just seemed like, it'd be dead in the water and it's broken and the parts are harder to come by, and and it's so expensive. I couldn't believe it.
Yes.
Like, it's just kind of like, really? Like, guys, we're not building a rocket ship here. Like, this is just a scanner.
Yeah.
What am I missing?
I need to put my paper in the thingy and have a nice scan of the thingy. Can you give me the thingy, please? Thank you.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Thank you, please.
Ow. And the crazy thing is, like, you hear all this stuff about like stuff for, I'm sorry, I'm going to have a moment where I'm like, photographers, like they get all the pretty toys. Poor artists are still like I am just blown away how there's a lot of really cool tools for artists, and then a lot of basic essentials that they still do not have. It's just still not out there. It's still not a commonplace thing. And it's kind of like, am I the only one with this need, or this would be amazing to have? Like, I can't be the only one.
What are you thinking of specifically?
I have something specific in mind. I like to do watercolors. And, okay, one second. This is a technical thing, so I'm gonna have to pause drawing and think. So doing watercolors, if anyone has ever done, what I do is I will draw the image with pencil onto the watercolor paper. And typically when you're drawing an image, it's easier to get it done in a sketchbook. Ideally, I want to fix it up digitally, and I would love to get it printed on my watercolor paper.
Oh yeah.
That way I'm not trying to like sketch it out on a watercolor paper. And if I'm erasing it, then I'm damaging the paper. And then the more times I erase it and, trying to move things around, it just makes more sense. Yeah. We have digital tools now. We can do this, create a digital image, sketch, print it in very light lines that later I can go over in inks, water repellent inks or whatever, and do my watercolor. But the problem is that I work in heavier watercolor, like 300-pound watercolor paper, instead of your 140, which is a little more pliable. So 300 is just a lot thicker, but it holds the colors better. I think of it like a stained glass window with many panes in it. So the thicker the paper you have more panes lined up, meaning it tends to hold the more layers of color better, I found.
Okay.
And I can lift color a lot better. So if I make a mistake, I could just saturate it with water and lift it with a paper towel, and it mostly almost all comes up. Not so with 140-pound watercolor paper. But regardless, I always stretch my watercolor paper. So what that means for people who don't know is you soak your watercolor paper, and so it absorbs as much water as possible, like you soak it in a bathtub. And then it expands, and I slap it onto like a solid piece of plywood, and I staple it at the edges. So when it shrinks and it's nice and taut. So whenever I put water on it, it doesn't bubble and warp. So it's especially needed if you're doing 140-pound watercolor paper. You can get by without doing 300-pound, but I found that sometimes 300-pound paper will still warp. So I've always stretched it. So now I have this beautiful watercolor paper on a hard board with no way of printing my image on there. And actually what I would do before is I'd print it onto the paper before I would put it on the board. But with 300-pound watercolor paper, it doesn't bend through a printer. And oftentimes it's oversized. It's much bigger. You're limited to like a small piece of watercolor, but if I want to do bigger pieces, there are large format printers, but there are none that print on a more solid surface. Like almost everything, it has to go through the wheels or whatever it is. And there's nothing that prints on top, and you're also worried about like the certain kind of ink. It has to be an ink that won't bleed when you put water on it.
Yes, that would be my biggest hurdle is is trying to print that out and having it bleed while you're trying to paint.
So like a laser print, I think is ideal. But so it's okay. Maybe that's a really specific need, but I would imagine other watercolor artists are looking even just for like a small piece that they just want to print on. And it is, even for 140-pound watercolor paper, it is so hard to find a printer that will accept paper like that.
Yeah.
It's just, I was kind of like, I can't be the only one, because otherwise you're transferring, you're taking carbon paper and you're transferring and redrawing it. And by that point, any original sketch you had loses whatever you made. You have to redraw it several times. So it's not a good solution. So anyways,
I'm curious. Like, I wonder whether or not, like, what is the there's a kind of printing that is typically done for, say, like band posters or T-shirts, that's very graphic.
Yeah.
Where it's like a huge stamp, and I don't remember what it's called.
And
I wonder whether or not that would be useful for you, especially after you've stretched it onto plywood.
Not lineotype.
Oh, lithograph.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I wonder. Like, I'm just curious that might be an interesting thing. And then, although, I mean, I realize it's much more. It's like a heavier. That it lays down distinct shapes. I'm not entirely sure what its capabilities are for, like, really light line art or thin line art. But I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know if it would handle the thin line art. And I know part of it was just people even willing to finding a print shop that does that and finding it for a decent price. And ideally, if there was a time I was doing a lot of watercolor paintings, so it just would have been really nice to have the ability to do that myself. So one thing I haven't tried yet, and I found some people do an acetone transfer. So you have to print it out, your image. I think you're using laser printer. Wow, sorry, terminology. So you have to print it out with a laser printer backwards, and then you take an acetone, colorless marker, or just acetone. You cover in acetone, and then you put it on the surface you want to transfer the image to. And there's some way of transferring it. I can't remember what it is, if you blot it or press it. But it would transfer just enough where I would have my basic lines.
Yeah.
So that might be a solution. I haven't actually played around with it yet.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Oh my gosh, this makes me want to do watercolors.
I know.
Crazy.
Like
the stretching thing, you were just blowing my mind over here. I was like, I've never heard of that before. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty what am I trying to say? Yeah, a lot of people that's a pretty big way of handling it, is stretching your watercolor paper. I've always used staples, like a staple gun and a 3/4 inch plywood.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Here, I can show you right here. Let me go ahead and grab it, and you can kind of see.
Try to.
Oh my goodness, these are. I have this board, and I actually cover up. I reuse my boards. I have no idea what's underneath here. It may have been a watercolor I started a while ago. But this is my what is it? It's fun to see what's in here. This is my 3/4 inch plywood board. Okay, there's nothing on here. Oh, I was just doing this to protect the paper so that when I do decide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So here, I'm gonna put myself. Oh, this one. There we go. So here's my plywood board, and yeah, that's my watercolor paper, and it's soaked. And yeah, just staple at the edges. And then when I'm done with it, I trace out my lines. So you have to count for the space. Obviously this gets wasted, but then you cut it out with a we call it X-Acto knife. So it works really well. Yeah, and it's portable, and you can pretty much put it on anything.
I was gonna say, yeah, you can just straight up go anywhere with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Knock anyone out who attacks you, assailants, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's and I've done some pretty big pieces as well. Yeah. Oh, you can see the old. This is an older one, pretty big. But anyway, there's a remnants. That's the annoying part. Is later I have to go through with the pliers and pull them all out. But
oh yes.
and I've used 3/4 inch plywood because I knew it wouldn't have a chance of bending or warping the wood itself. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because you don't.
I was wondering. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's worked really well for me. Yeah, I really liked it. Crime Deterrent by Jessica.
On the subject of transferring your images, I actually have done something kind of like that, but it was with Canvas. And what I did was I took a image that I printed out using a laser printer. See, what a laser printer does is it actually doesn't put like droplets of ink in the paper. It's more like a layer of it's a lot like wax.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I took a piece of like stretched canvas, and I think I put Mod Podge on it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I didn't. I don't remember, but I put the image down on top and image face down, and then I wetted the image with water, and I just loaded the paper down with water, and I just kind of rubbed it away, and the paper disintegrated, and it left the ink layer behind on the canvas.
Whoa!
Really?
Yeah.
So,
I think I did use Mod Podge on it. I don't remember.
I don't even know what Mod Podge is.
It's like a glue almost.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's how it would get it to stick. So did it take a lot of work for the paper to disintegrate?
It wasn't like a terrible amount. I just did like on just a tiny
Okay.
little canvas just to test it out. But it's it wasn't like super terrible. You just had to make sure that the paper was decently wet. You basically just had to put enough water on it to where you start to see the image pretty clearly through the paper.
Right. And I wonder if it helps if your lines are a little more solid, and that way it's. I don't know if it would work for a sketch, but that's interesting. Yeah, I'm convinced that like something that is laser printed would transfer over better. Yeah, not the inkjet.
Yeah.
We shall find a way. There is a way out there.
Yes. Yes.
Lord knows I've transferred and copied and carbon copied so many watercolors before, and it's just like.
And I'm wondering how thick that paper is.
Say again?
Because, I'm just kind of wondering how thick that paper is, the watercolor paper that you use.
300 pounds. Yeah, I don't know how thick it is.
Yeah,
I mean, it's okay. I'll put it this way: it's definitely thicker than cardstock.
Because I have a large format printer. I don't know if it can handle that kind of stuff.
If it bends it around, it won't work. Pretty sure it won't work.
Some of the big artistic printers, then the ones that have like 8 or 15 inks in them, can print flat. There are ones that are designed to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell
Actually,
you something you could do if you want to get experimental is there are ways to make your own screen printing tools. If you pay somebody to do it, it's expensive. But if you do it yourself, it's not. It's a bit of
Screen
work.
printing. That's what I was thinking of. Screen printing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know with screen printing, the thin lines, and because it can't be they can't be transferred dark. They have to be pretty light. I don't think it'll transfer. Unfortunately,
Hard to say. I've seen some pretty delicate designs done in screen printing. If
really?
It depends on the density of your screens, and you choose whatever color you're going to apply to it. But it's again, that would be like a hobby you would have to take on and be expected to run into problems and figure it out as you go along.
For sure.
I know people that use it as an artistic thing where they only do like one print. And then it's a piece of art. They're not like doing 1,000 T-shirts. They're just doing one print on canvas, and they're really nice looking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, so my mom was actually working with some screen printing about a year ago, and I got to help her a little bit with that. So it's kind of fun to get that firsthand experience. And it is a really cool art form. It is really neat what you can do with that. I feel like Heidi is like, a new thing to learn.
No, I'm sitting here like, oh man, I want to play with that.
No, you're a new thing to learn.
A new thing to learn. Yes.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah, that's the kind.
Let me show you. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I just like that's the inner illustrator wanting to come out and play.
Yeah. Right? Hit play.
Let me show you.
Show us something.
A type of. Yeah. I'm going to show you a type of printer that could possibly be used. I don't know how well it would work.
Yeah.
One of these dealies.
Yeah, because that runs through flat, doesn't it?
That's a
let me show you.
Big boy. That's a very big boy.
Yeah, so there's the paper, and it can be actually just loaded in just straight like that.
Holy moly, dude!
You just gotta send your stuff to Dan. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, you just have like this monster like casually sitting in your garage.
Well, this is an identical one that they have at work.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, basically the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, little did you know you're gonna start receiving artwork in the mail. You please print this for me, please.
Well, if you
for hire.
Ever need anything printed, I don't care.
I'll let you know. Oh man. See, we are resourceful artists. We're figuring it out.
Which like printers like those, which printers like those, they're super expensive, like new. But what you could do is, if you look on like Facebook Marketplace, you could find like I found one that was like this guy wanted like $50 for it, but it wasn't working, and so I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? So I bought it, and I brought it home, and it was giving like some error about the ink cartridges or something like that, and he gave me this big box of ink cartridges, and I pulled out the ink cartridge that was giving the error on, because they have like 4 ink cartridges.
Yeah.
And I pull that one out, and I noticed that it wasn't like a genuine HP ink cartridge.
Oh, yeah.
I dug around in the box, and I found that there was one HP inkjet cartridge, and and I loaded it in there, and it worked fine. So
That was it. That was it.
yeah, that was it. Yeah.
So I missed the first part of this. Did you load the HP into something that was not HP, or for some?
The original owner loaded like a bootleg cart.
Oh, it's a bootleg. Okay.
Yeah. So it apparently didn't like it, and he couldn't figure that out. So he just put it on Facebook Marketplace for like $50. And I bought it, and he gave me like a bunch of ink cartridges, including like a genuine cartridge, which made it work fine. So
That's pretty
hilarious.
sweet.
I say that's like a pretty. You'd think that's a pretty easy error to troubleshoot. But
yeah.
my ink cartridge. I have this like crazy big printer that's really expensive. Nah, Facebook Marketplace.
You would be shocked how many people there are out there they were brought up in the iPad generation, and if they can't just press a button and make it work, they give up.
Yeah. True. That's sadly true.
That's where we have the leg up on them, everybody.
Yeah.
I love it. Dan, you remind me so much of my brother in the sense of like taking something and fixing it and tinkering it. It's like it's working. It's all good now. My brother does that a lot. He's always like every time I get to visit him, he's like, "Oh yeah, I got this new toy. You want to see it? Oh, I found this drone over here, and I just had to fix this. And okay, this doesn't work perfectly, but it still kind of works." And
That's pretty fun to do.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you got a really cool printer now for really decent price. Cheap, $50. Oh
Yeah,
man,
Holy moly!
you can blow that amount on Starbucks. You know, like you got a huge printer. Wow.
All right.
All right. So everyone, for your printing needs, hit up Dan.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, if you guys need anything,
I just met you, but
Printer for hire. It sounds really cool that way.
yeah, it does actually. Printer for hire. Like gun for hire.
All right. I just envision like an explosion in the background. I'm gonna design a movie poster to this.
Oh yes, it'll be so good. All right, I gotta go grab some food.
All right.
But it was really nice chatting with y'all for a little bit and getting to meet you.
Thank you so much for the stream.
Yeah, it was great to be here. Hopefully I'll catch you next time.
Absolutely. We'll do another one of these evening streams. We'll see you next week or at some point. So awesome.
All right. Sounds good. All right.
Nice to meet you, Heidi.
Nice
Good
to
night.
meet you.
see ya.
Let's see. I'm sorry, chat. I'm not even. Oh, I'm behind on the chat. Let's see. And techniques. Yep. Tobias said, I like different techniques by different artists. I've seen some arches. What was he saying? Oh, I lost it. Oh, arches cold press. It's like expensive. It is expensive. This stuff. I save all the scraps of my watercolor paper because it's expensive. Even like the skinny straps because I'll use it for testing out colors on and yeah, that's stuff you gotta take a little loan out to buy a sheet of watercolor paper. Let's see. It would be nice if printers could print using graphite, right? Yes. Amen. It's really nice to use for permanent work. Mm-hmm. Yep. Imagine it would require flatbed and an ink system that goes with the printer, sends rollers. Then you open lid and get the paper out. Yeah, I don't know. I hope. Maybe it's out there. Maybe I haven't found it yet. One nice thing I really liked. What was it? Yeah, one nice thing I have is I forgot to mention this while Heidi was here, but I found an all-in-one printer that scans 11 by 17. And it's an all-in-one printer.
Ooh,
And it was
nice.
not that bad. I think it was like $200, which was really good because the 11 by 17 scanner just by itself, I couldn't find ones. I must have been searching wrong, but I couldn't find one for under $2,000. I must. I don't know. I somehow got this. Works great.
What brand is it?
It's Epson. So it.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
It's not the professional top of the line what you have in a shop sort of deal, but
yeah.
I mean
But they're still pretty good quality.
Yeah. So I haven't done a lot of printing on it yet. The scanning is pretty good. It's so nice being able to put one page in there and not. Oh, it's so nice. Yeah, so that's pretty great. Oh my goodness. I need to get some colors on here. I was like, I'm going to totally be able to finish this in time. Womp. Say it every time.
Had some good conversation.
I know. Oh man, you throw a traditional artist in the mix and you have me chatterbox. You guys are still real? Oh, I missed that.
This is when we want smell-o-vision, so we can smell the graphite and the paint.
Oh man. Actually, so I'll have to, I'll probably do a blog post, but I have my amazing husband has made these really cool boxes, like storage boxes for all my art paper. Because before I was sitting in a closet, just in piles, falling against each other. And so he actually made these boxes and have nice dividers in them. And
nice.
It smells like pine and like woodsy. It smells really good. And every time I open the doors, it even looks like everything's organized. It's so beautiful.
Very nice.
Yes. Well, that was really sweet of him. Oh my goodness. Come on, Wings. Come on.
I love sometimes when I leave work, there's like a barbecue place like maybe a couple of miles away. So sometimes when I leave and the wind is just right, I get a nice hickory smell.
Oh, that's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Oh yeah.
We have there's like one of those places on the road near our house, and especially when it wasn't so hot, I was just like coming up to the stoplight, like roll down the window a little bit. It smells like summer. It smells like summer daydream. And that's and I'm still going. Now I'm past the crosswalk. Oh. Okay. Wow, that's something. You know what? I'm gonna come back to the wings later. Good enough for now. I just want to get some flats going. I'm missing something.
Actually, I'm gonna head out.
All right. Well,
so thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's been nice hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, it's nice to see all your cool machinery and.
Yeah, and thank you so much for the tour and being able to brew some ideas for future watercolor solutions.
Yeah.
So, well, good luck with all the printing. Hopefully, we'll catch you again next time.
Well, thanks. I'll see you guys later.
Sounds good. Have a good night.
You too.
Yay. Maria, I have an Epson 2 and one printer scanner 2. I don't think it's that big. Yeah, those finding a good all-in-one printer or 2-in-1, it makes the job so much easier. And just if I didn't get to read your text, 160 gram paper is basically like cardstock. Yep. and it could be print on machine. Yeah, that could. Yeah, I just don't work in that anymore. It's all 300-pound expensive Arches paper. Aw, he says you guys are great. Thank you for positive vibes. Well, you're welcome anytime, every time. Absolutely, we are here to encourage each other and have a good time.
Mhm.
How is that page coming, Craig?
It's coming slowly but surely. I'm kind of inking a little bit now, but yeah, I like that big whoosh. It really fills in the space, and it's
Yes.
filling out nicely. Now I gotta ink, but I gotta figure out my colors too, because I guess I'm gonna have to color underneath the cloud, and then have the cloud be a little transparent.
You mean for her?
For for the characters that are kind of being slightly overlapped by it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, hang on.
Yeah.
So when I do this character here and this character here, I'm gonna have to put the colors under the cloud and then have the cloud sort of semi-opaque.
Mm-hmm.
So cover them up. Yeah, no, I really like that layout. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad it worked. You actually like your version even better. I like the way you did the wish. Just helps. It actually shows a direction of the smoke or the gas going into the chamber. Yeah, no, it looks really good.
I'm very pleased. I'm excited now. I want to get done. This is the big issue I run into though, because when I start with a blank page and I kind of get to this point, I feel very satisfied. Like all the characters have good poses. I feel like there's some action. I feel like I'm conveying the message, and then doing all the line work and the coloring and everything to me is not as exciting. It's kind of like that stuff you just got to get done, But
real work now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's something that people have to get comfortable with is, no matter what you want to do, no matter how much you love it, there's always going to be parts of it that are just work. And you just got to put your nose to the grindstone and get them done.
Oh my goodness. Yep. I hear you so much. I was thinking about that today. I had some pages I was working on, and it was revisions, and it was the kind of drawing that really takes some brain power. I sure did not want to do it.
But then when you're all done and you can sort of look at it, it's very satisfying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to tweak a line, and then I think I'm going to do some flats. I think I could probably, we'll see. I might go a little past 9, but I probably should wrap it up.
Yep,
It's school night.
Whenever you need to go, you just go ahead.
Yeah, I want to get a little more done first. My husband and I have been waking up early and working out early in the morning before his work, so there is incentive to actually get to bed on time. More sleep you get. Okay. All right. I'm going to practice what I preach, and I'm going to call this good enough for lines. Oops. Okay. Make sure I got everything, or most things I need. You're going to bend that. Let's call that. Sure. Okay. I'm missing something, but figure it out later. Okay.
I was actually really pleased to see you talking about the vector tools a little bit, because I really haven't explored them much yet, and they look really useful.
Oh yeah, you were able to get hear a lot of that conversation?
Yeah, I saw some of that while I was kind of getting myself set up here. That looked really good.
Oh, yeah.
That was a question I had for you, actually. I was planning to sort of ask you whether you were using vector tools or not, because I couldn't tell just by watching. But, because I've heard of them. I've used vector in other mediums, doing more graphic arts kind of stuff, but I've never used it for this kind of work.
Yeah, it's I discovered them not too long ago, and they're really handy. They're really handy and nice to have. Like I said, I still use regular rasterized lines for the face. But yeah, the vector is nice. For anyone who's watching, I'm going to do some flats. So a quick explanation is flats are your basic color layer. It's your base. This is one way of coloring. As I'm still learning how to do comics, a lot of comic artists I found like to use this method because it just keeps everything a lot cleaner. For many people that are doing the coloring stage, you have inker and colorist, and it just makes everything more streamlined. So that's a bigger explanation apart from that. But if you know what flats are, what I do is you want to make sure that your whatever tools you're using. So I'm going to be using my lasso tool. I have a couple different lasso tools. I have the polygon, which I can do geometric lines with, and I have my regular lasso tool. So I just can make that shape. Anything like that, I make sure is select to anti-aliasing. So none at all. Anti-aliasing is when you get the pixely mark. So let me give you an example. So right now my brush is set to no or a complete aliasing, which means you get every little pixel. Anti-aliasing means it kind of blurs that line, but we actually want the pixel by pixel because it allows you to, if you have it set correctly, color margin is on 0, you can select every pixel rather than here it only selects some of them and then it leaves these kind of no man's land in between, and so it makes for a much cleaner selection. That's a really quick explanation, so you can look up more on flatting, but yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and actually call this flats layer. This should actually go pretty fast. I like flats because it takes like 0 brain power. Make sure my select tool, my wand, is also not on anti-aliasing. I want it aliased. My erase tool. Okay, double check. That is actually, we're going to put up here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I have my palette and the little palette here. And I selected my colors. And now I'm going to select the lines. And I'm going to invert. So now it's just her selected. And I'm going to shrink my selected area. I know there are other ways of doing this in Clip Studio, but this is just kind of the way I've done it. Oops, actually, I forgot. I'm going to select all the little windows here. Okay, I think I got them all. Now I'm going to invert that selection. I'm going to shrink it, maybe by 3 pixels. So kind of, maybe a little too much here. So I'll do 2 pixels instead. Shrink by 2. All right. Now I'm going to hide my little marching ants. And there you go. So when the lines are gone, have a nice, beautiful pixely edge, which actually is exactly what I want. That's face lines. So there's more on that. Maybe I'll actually do a tutorial another day, but now I just need to break up the different pieces. That's on the flat layer. That's right. You know, I like to color coordinate. Let's make you red and we'll make you blue. Tisipa says, greetings from Europe. Here it's early morning. Ooh, good morning. Well, do tell, where in Europe are you? That'd be fun. Oh, I want to visit Europe again. We had plans of visiting Europe. Not working out this year, sadly.
Oh.
So badly want to go. We've been like planning it, and then it get canceled. And they're like, okay, plan it again. And then it get canceled. Like, come on. Oh well, we will get there.
That happens.
It sure does. I don't think anyone foresaw any of this. Okay. Aha. Hello. I remember what I missed. Okay. It makes so much more sense. Oops. Oh my goodness. I'm all over the place. Here we go. Let's do that. Maria, I need to get to bed. I need to get extra early these days. So thank you, Maria, for hanging out. Really appreciate it. Staying up. Get some good rest. I'll probably just throw the flats in and call it good tonight. At least I can say, like, I got some colors on.
I do find the flatting stage, when I get those flats in, it does feel like you've really sort of accomplished something and you've gotten to a pivotal moment, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's the nice thing I like about flats is it's, how do I say it? You don't have to make as many creative choices. This is kind of like it's either right or it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's got to do it, which you don't get that a whole lot in the artistic process. There's a lot of looking and making a lot of artistic choices, and it can be very exhausting. So it's so nice when you have something you're like, all I got to do is just color in between the lines.
Yeah.
And give my brain a break. And
Yes.
zone out and listen to stuff too.
Nice little Zen-like moment.
Yes. Okay. All right. I feel like it feels extra rewarding because, yeah, like you said, you really see the progress pretty instantly.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I can actually include all of that. I'm going to give you a little screen time. Ooh, Serbia. Very cool. That's awesome. I've never been. That would be awesome to visit.
That would be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, anywhere that has seasons right now sounds good. I am in Florida land. It is very hot all the time and humid. But we get really cool electrical storms. That's very, very neat.
That would be interesting.
We've been having, so in the summer, and I didn't grow up here, so this is still kind of new to me. We've been having like daily lightning storms, or not lightning actually, but thunder, like thunderstorms, and so they come around the afternoon every day.
Wow.
Yeah, it rains and it gets all windy, and then it kind of resolves. But I mean, this whole week has just been kind of dreary and gloomy and just humid, and yeah, the summer here is kind of like winter. You don't really want to go outside a whole much if you can help it.
Yeah.
Or if you do, it's definitely going somewhere where you're not bothered by the heat. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we ever get that warm around here, but it's funny how you get acclimatized to things, though. If you spend a lot of time somewhere, you can get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I know when we lived up north, like I couldn't imagine before going there that I would be outside at minus 20 Celsius with my coat open, feeling warm. But it's just the nature of the climate there. It's so dry that when it gets cold, it doesn't feel as cold.
Oh.
And you do just get used to it after a while.
Yeah, it's true. It's a mercy as well. That'd be very hard if you didn't. Although, I mean, I feel like I still just overheat so easily. So I do cope with heat much better than I used to. But I just feel like I feel better if I take a shower at the end of these days.
Yeah.
Growing up in Washington State, I don't know, like I never really had really hot weather, and I when I was back there for a little bit, I just kind of realized I'm like, I'm not needing a shower every day, or I don't feel it.
Yeah. Well, my friends, I don't want to go on a Japan rant, but they found that when they were in Japan that they would be showering 2, sometimes 3 times a day because it was so humid where they were.
Mm. Yeah. But I mean, they do. Well, were they in Okinawa?
No. Trying to remember where they were. I went all over the country in like a matter of a couple of weeks, so I don't remember different areas very well. But like one of them slept on a traditional futon, and he'd have to take it out every morning and hang it up to dry for the day because it would just absorb the moisture from his body all night.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a very different experience, you know. He had one of the little teeny tiny bathrooms where that had the one faucet that did the sink and the tub.
Yeah. And the mirror, the full length mirror in the shower. I see.
Yes, I think he did. Yeah.
That was very strange at first. I stayed with my family one time. I was like, "There's a full length mirror in the shower."
Why? Why do I want to look at that while I'm showering?
Right. I hope it fogs up, but then they make sure it's like anti-fog.
Yeah.
Like I said, different solutions and just different ways of doing things.
Well, and you know, it's funny because you know I told you my wife had a little house and didn't have any real central heating at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it had the heat under the table, and it also had a heated toilet seat because it had a Western style toilet in it.
Yeah.
And you would think of that as a silly luxury here, but there it was almost a necessity when you don't have any heat in your house.
Yeah, that's true. It is kind of a luxury at that point. We knew friends after they moved away from Japan. They would like ordered with like the Japanese style toilet and brought it with them.
That's funny.
Yeah, and it's just like they're kind of nice.
Yeah.
But especially that kotatsu table with the table and the blanket and the recessed into the floor. Not all of them, but like some places were recessed into the floor, and
Yeah.
oh, that was cozy with the capital C.
That was quite nice, actually. I could see myself having that in my home here, to be honest with you.
Yes. Oh, especially where you live. Oh man, you'd make good use of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could get them, but they're yeah. I'm sure you can get them somewhere.
Yeah. It's funny how you just get sort of, you stick with whatever the going culture around you is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know I would enjoy that, but anytime I had guests over, they would be very confused.
Right? What? Tell me what this says again.
I have to sit on the floor? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh, I know. That is true. I mean, it's one of those things that I wouldn't really use in our home if we had it, but I use it sometimes. But yeah, unless you actually like live there, I think you're right. Kind of just a fun bonus. Yeah, let's do this. Ah, that feels better. Luminosity, saturation. Okay, that's good. One of the nice things about flatting Stella is she's a relatively simple suit design, so only a few colors, which is nice.
It's a nice design, though. You know, it has just enough detail to have some visual interest, but you still have that nice sort of clean form to work with.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I've striven for that. Yeah. I mean, like what we were talking with Heidi earlier is making certain choices and decisions for design.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself. And it's just been something that's been on my mind a lot, especially for the other characters I'm going to be using. Is like what can I do to make smart design choices?
Yeah. I'll give you a hint. Don't give everybody tails.
don't give your characters wings. That's my hint. Okay. They get in the way of everything.
Yeah. If I ever tell you I'm planning on doing a graphic novel all about angels, just tell me not to.
Don't do it. Make it something else. No tails, no wings. Oh, funny. Yeah, it's interesting finding that balance between making a design that is recognizable and pleasing and hits enough detail, but isn't going to be too cluttered. Because again, for the realm of comics, there are sometimes characters I've seen that are just way too detailed and almost just sensory overload, and they see them again and again and again. So it seems to be better if it is used for like a standalone illustration or something, concept art or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I always say, there's not that I think superhero comics are the greatest of all thing, but from an industry standpoint, there's a reason why 90% of superheroes wear spandex. because it's easier to draw than to have all kinds of folds and flaps and, different layers and things like that. I mean, when you're drawing a character that's just wearing a spandex suit, you're basically just drawing a figure.
You have to draw that figure anyways, so why add anything else? Did you hear that? So you said you heard that somewhere?
No, that's just my own opinion, honestly. But
I've never heard of that, but that actually makes a lot of sense.
I mean, like I find with my characters, whatever it is, I have to draw that form first, and then add the clothes onto it. And I know some people can just go straight into drawing the whole character, clothes, and all right off the bat. But I have to do the form first, and then sort of layer the clothes onto it.
Yeah. I've seen some artists who also work like that too. Man, I keep mentioning his name. If you ever listen to one of these, he's gonna be like, "What? How often do you mention me?" But Matt Rhodes, actually does follow that same. At least for a lot of the pieces that he was posting, shows how he really draws the full figure underneath, and then like really well done, where it's almost a shame to cover it all up. Wonderful, like you got it.
Yeah.
Something is not right. Oh, I did this wrong. We're gonna do that. Change this up a bit.
Actually, I was watching you draw her gloves the other day, and the way you do the seams around the edge really gives that three-dimensional perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I think about that a lot when I'm drawing like hands and feet. Until you put the nails on, like the fingernails and the toenails, you can't always tell the shape of the toe. But once you add that fingernail in, it jumps right out, and the seams on the gloves do the same thing.
It was amazing how much of a game changer that was. And actually, in some places, I think as I'm doing more of these pieces, it's like I should add more seams in other places. Not too many, but enough to really differentiate and give it that volume.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. Sorry, one second. I'm a little distracted because I think my monitor went into nighttime mode. So my whole screen kind of has this reddish tint. And it's kind of boggling my brain. And right now I have pure white on her face, but it doesn't look like pure white to me. So I got to fix this. I chose the wrong color. We're going to do something crazy. Okay, here we go. I'm going to grab, that's the hair color. That's a skin color. So we're going to go in and color the hair. There it is. Okay. There it is. That should be more accurate now.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a real problem for coloring.
I know. Well, at this point, it's like, I'm not too worried about it because I'm like, yeah, I'll fix it later. And I know exactly the colors I need to use because I have my little handy dandy palette. Yes. But it was just like, something feels off. Something's not right.
Yeah.
I will just do the headphones and then her face, and I'll probably call it good. Oops. That's the one problem, though, I've noticed about the extra lines I'm adding is when I do my flats, I would go in and select these areas. But now, since I have other lines to contend with, it makes my selection a little more piecemeal.
Mm-hmm.
So especially with all of her suit lines, I didn't have as much detail before, so I just like click 3 times and like her whole suit was selected.
Yeah.
But it's still relatively easy. Okay. This part. Okay, that's right. All of this is already selected, so I can. Oops. It's really a different mindset you have to be in when you're flatting. It's kind of interesting. It's a totally different part of the brain I find that I use.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did try a little bit, and I'm going to do more of using the lasso tool for putting in the shadows.
Yeah.
And you're totally right. You think about it in a totally different way when you think in terms of shape instead of line.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be really good for me. I might kind of go back and forth sometimes, but I do like it.
Maybe the next stream I'll save this to do the shades, so that way it'll be recorded.
Yeah, it's like you say, like when with the flatting, you're using a different part of your brain and you're sort of looking at things in a different way, and yeah, I quite liked that when I was experimenting with it a little bit there.
Yeah. It was really handy. And actually I kind of latched on faster than I thought it would, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
But there's still some times where like the brush just gets a better line. You kind of find where that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think I have to experiment a little bit more with what I do. So far, all I've really done is just select areas and fill them completely. But to experiment with the airbrush and other brushes, so that I don't necessarily fill the whole space I've selected, and get some gradients and things, and there's a lot you can do with it for sure.
Yeah, just the tip of the iceberg. I feel like I'm always finding something new then.
Yeah.
It's great talking to artists because I find even more new things. Okay, pretty bright for now. I might redo the wings later. And actually the only other thing I gotta do here, lips. Okay. There she is. All the flats. There she is.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, I think, let me quickly check the chat. Hello, Alan. Welcome. Oh, thank you, Giuseppe. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, your previous comment, Japan seems cool. It's really, really cool. I had the privilege of living there for a few years. So, but that's for another stream. I'll rave about how much I love it later. Well, so cool. Well, let's see. Let me check what you're working on.
Just want to throw a little color on this and experiment with those layers a little bit.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who works with a lot of layers as well.
Oh, far too many, I think.
I hear you. I hear you. So
what I really need to do is I need to drop that down below those ones. Yeah.
cool.
And then I can adjust the different colors. Maybe it has to go down one more. One more? No, that doesn't make any difference. That's the one I need to adjust. There. Yeah. I think that'll work.
That's gonna look so good.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be very pleased with this when it's done, I think.
I love how you did that central element and how it's just a very clever way of making a I can't think of the good word. it's just really neat how it like invades all the other boxes, and it's just
Yeah.
central element that ties the whole page together. So it's more than just like your, I mean, the grid and block thing is great too, but I like it when people get creative and think of different, thinking outside the box.
Serendipity. You know, sometimes you just sort of play around with things and you stumble on something and you think, that could work. I like that.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, it looks great. Well, it's that time because it's still Friday tomorrow and we got to get up early. So I will mention this thing. We'll get some shades next week and we'll go from there.
Yeah. You have a good week, Jessica. Thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me. We had this was a fun night, and I'll see you next week. Daytime, nighttime, I'll figure it out. But
sure.
Cool. Thank you guys for joining us in the chat. Have a great night. See you, everyone.
See ya.